Harry Maguire inspires Manchester United to pass the personality test in Elland Road. As the venom dripped with the raindrops from the eaves of this famous old stadium, Harry Maguire just smiled. This was a test of character, and he passed, even scored. Maguire has been doubted, even had his right to play for Manchester United, and to lead them, questioned, but from the moment he saluted the travelling supporters before kick-off to the moment he headed his team in front, then steadying them amid a second-half storm, Maguire reminded everyone of his importance. This was Maguire's sort of game, a throwback to 70s collisions in treacherous conditions, with the heavens opened and Elland Road baying. When Maguire started the scoring, and slid on his knees across the sodden surface, a few objects hurtled through the air towards him. Maguire smiled again. This was an important day for Maguire's team, not simply because they deservedly defeated a historic rival, and not only because Ralf Rangnick turned the game back their way with his substitutions, but because this performance showed everyone that Maguire and his players care. Their attitude gets frequently called to account, and they have undeniably underachieved this season, but nobody could question their mettle here. Maguire was outstanding, defending and leading. Victor Lindelof stood firm alongside him. Jadon Sancho excelled herring forward and Paul Pogba displayed his control in a swirling wind and on a tricky pitch. The only downside was the indiscipline of Scott McTominay, who would not have made halftime under a better referee than Paul Tierney. McTominay was finally booked for his 5th foul and then got away with his 6th. There is leniency and then there is overindulgence. Tierney let McTominay get away with too much. If that frustrated Leeds United, their defense should worry them more. They have now conceded 50 goals in the Premier League this season. Leeds players kept making mistakes for the 4 goals. Diego Llorente reacted too weakly to Maguire for the first. Then Luke Ayling failed to track Bruno Fernandes. Junior Firpo gave the ball away and Fred eventually profited before Pascal Struijk lost possession, leading to Anthony Elanga's finish. Leeds played some glorious, adrenaline-filled football, especially when Marcelo Bielsa got the balance and cutting-edge right with the arrival of Joe Gelhardt and Rafinha at the break. But they are too open, and their head coach was right to admit that he was worried about their defending. Calvin Phillips's shielding qualities are much missed. Leeds' frailties place an even greater burden on an attack shorn of Patrick Bamford. Bielsa has to trust Gelhardt more in Bamford's absence. Leeds fans sang of their pride in the team at the final whistle, although a few idiot fans embarrassed themselves and the club, and the throwing of objects will inevitably be investigated. Elland Road had waited a long time for this resumption of old hostilities between fans, the wait extended by Leeds' exile from the elite division and the need to play games behind closed doors during the COVID pandemic. Manchester United supporters were returning for the first time since 2011, and a League Cup win, and their first visit in the Premier League since 2003. When Cristiano Ronaldo played in a narrow victory. Ronaldo and friends were greeted to the inevitable feisty welcome, running the gamut of eloquence, from a simple Yorkshire to scum. Ronaldo received a particularly unpleasant serenade. Manchester United took it in their stride. McTominay was too fired up, though, and could easily have gone in the first half after flying in and catching Jack Harrison, then smashing Robin Koch in the knee and in the head. Such was the blood and mud splattered across Koch's shirt and shorts that he needed a wardrobe change as well as a bandage around his head. On it went, ancient enmity writ large. Aaron Wan-Bissaka took a throw-in with Leeds fans in the Jack Charlton stand leaning over the hoardings, giving him all manner of choice thought. Koch then dropped to the sodden turf, indicating that he could not continue, although Leeds confirmed it was not a concussion issue. Firpo came on at left back, Ayling went to centre back, Stuart Dallas went right and Struijk pushed into midfield. The defensive rejigging was soon exposed. When Fernandes's strike was pushed away by Ilan Meslier after 34 minutes, Harrison conceded a corner under pressure from Ronaldo. Luke Shaw curled the ball over and Maguire simply wanted it more than Llorente, heading powerfully in. One of the themes of the afternoon, the amount of unpunished wrestling at set pieces, was seen as Ayling pulled over Pogba. Maguire, celebrating his team's first goal from a corner this season, slid on his knees towards the Leeds fans, and received a few objects in return. The grappling continued, Pogba and Maguire both dragged over at a corner, but Manchester United added a deserved second 5 minutes into time added on for Koch's running repairs. Maguire started it, heading the ball right to Lindelof, who embarked on a long run, exchanging passes with Sancho, who eventually dinked in a cross that Fernandes headed past Meslier. Bielsa had to respond and Gelhardt came on to lead the line, with Rafinha to stretch the opposition. Leeds were galvanized, storming towards Maguire and company. This was the Bielsa way, pure energy, all-out attack, and the players responding to the urgency spilling from the home stand. They were also playing with the wind and, it felt, the tide. And then came an extraordinary 59 seconds, during which Leeds drew level. Rodrigo, taking a pass from Firpo on the left after 53 minutes, looked up to see who was running into the box. He was clearly intending a cross, but his delivery drifted over De Gea and in at the far post. As goals go, this was wind-assisted. Leeds simply tore into their loathed guests again, Adam Forshaw leaping in and easing the ball away from Fernandes. The Portuguese collapsed to the floor, as if fouled. Tierney rightly waved play on, Daniel James eluded Jesse Lingard and Wan-Bissaka and crossed for the sliding Rafinha to equalize. Elland Road was now in tumult, but Maguire steadied his team, and Rangnick made some changes, sending on Fred and Elanga for Pogba and Lingard. Pogba had been playing well, yet Fred had a swift impact. Ronaldo, Fred and Sancho all combined, taking the ball from right to left, before Sancho sent Fred in from a tight angle. The Brazilian drove the ball between Meslier and his right hand upright. Sadly, more objects were thrown. A couple of stewards ran on, one slipping, to guide the jubilant players out of the firing line. McTominay continued to make a mockery of refereeing consistency, fouling Gelhardt, and finally getting booked, and then catching Firpo, but somehow staying on. This, though, was to be his team's day, as Elanga sealed the points, sliding the ball under Meslier. There was still time for another flare-up, of course, before the final whistle. And Maguire smiled again. Leeds, I Meslier 7, L Ayling 7, D Llorente 5, R Coke 6, P Struijk 5, A Forshaw 7, S Dallas 8, Rodrigo 7, M Klitsch 5, J Harrison 5, D James 6. Booked Struijk, Ayling, Forshaw, Rafinha, Firpo. Man United, D De Gea 6, A Wan-Bissaka 6, V Lindelof 7, H Maguire 8, L Shaw 6, P Pogba 7, S McTominay 7, J Lingard 5, B Fernandes 8, J Sancho 9, C Ronaldo 6. Booked Ronaldo, McTominay, Shaw.